After so many years together, and now, you have to learn how to fall asleep alone? This is a pain few people talk about, but thousands of people over 60 are facing it right now. Divorce in later life hurts in a quiet way. It breaks your heart, disrupts your routine, shakes your sense of identity. And deep down, a question appears that's even scarier than loneliness: is it still possible to start over? Today, we're going to talk about the signs and habits that rarely get mentioned when it comes to facing divorce in later life, signs that are actually proof of strength, dignity, and emotional health. These are simple but powerful actions that show when someone is turning a painful chapter into a chance to grow. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, know this: you're doing something extraordinary. You're taking control of your life and aging with independence and purpose, even in the face of deep challenges. Subscribe to our channel now and stay with us until the end to understand this more deeply. Often, what we see on the outside is just sadness or fear, but what truly matters is what happens inside: the courage to begin again, the ability to take care of yourself, the desire to be happy once more. That's what we're going to uncover here, showing you that you're not alone and that your path forward can be lighter than you imagine. Stay with me, because these discoveries can completely change the way you experience this delicate time, and open the door to a new life full of meaning. You thought this stage of life would be peaceful, full of travel plans, quiet afternoons, and decades of companionship by your side. But divorce came. Suddenly or gradually, it tore apart what once felt permanent. And now you're left with a quiet, painful question: who am I without this relationship? That pain is not an exaggeration. It's real. The end of a marriage in later life is a kind of grief, and like all grief, it needs to be acknowledged before it can be healed. Many people try to be too strong, pushing their emotions aside, pretending nothing happened. But ignoring your feelings isn't strength, it's avoidance, and eventually, it takes a toll. Sadness, anger, regret, loneliness, all of these emotions are part of the healing process. You're not weak for feeling them, you're human. Allowing yourself to feel is the first courageous act of rebuilding, even if the pain is still there every morning when you wake up. Maybe you're dealing with silent nights that once were filled with everyday conversation. Maybe you've found yourself wandering around the house, trying to adjust to the absence. That emptiness is normal, but temporary, as long as you don't fight it, but walk through it. Naming what you feel is liberating. Because once you name your pain, it stops controlling you, and starts revealing what it's trying to teach you. And what is that pain trying to tell you? That your life isn't over. That there's a new space within you asking for attention. That a new version of your identity is forming, right there, in the silence that once felt like just emptiness. That rebuilding begins the moment you decide to listen to yourself. And that is exactly the starting point for your next step, discovering who you are now, without the roles, routines, or labels your marriage once gave you. When a marriage ends after so many years, it's not just the relationship that ends, a part of your identity also falls apart. You stop being us and return to being just me. And for many people, that transition is terrifying. After all, for decades you got used to making decisions as a pair, sharing routines, dreams, and even silences. Now, standing in front of a mirror that only reflects you, a painful question emerges: what's left of me? Asterisk, and beyond that, asterisk, what could be reborn from this point on? If you're still watching this video and finding it meaningful, please comment your name and the city you're from down below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I kindly ask you to do so and activate the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content to inspire you on this journey. This stage of life offers a unique chance for deep self-rediscovery. You get to ask yourself once again what you truly enjoy, what inspires you, what brings you pleasure beyond what was shared as a couple. What if you revisited old hobbies you had forgotten? Or started something completely new, like painting, photography, gardening, or even writing your own life story? These small gestures are seeds of a new version of yourself, a version that can be freer, more conscious, and lighter. And this is not about erasing the past. On the contrary, it's about honoring your journey while making space for what's new. It's about accepting that your identity is evolving, and that this is natural, healthy, and necessary. At 60, 70, or even 80 years old, there are still parts of you that have never been explored. Maybe because marriage once consumed most of your time and energy. Maybe because you never thought you needed to look so deeply inward. But now, this is your moment, to do so with kindness, patience, and curiosity. This process of rediscovery also requires a shift in how you see the future. Because yes, there is still a future, even if it looks different than what you once imagined before the divorce. A new routine, new people, new choices, all of that starts taking shape when you allow yourself to exist outside the former role of husband or wife. And during this process of rebuilding, there's another essential piece to consider: caring for your emotional health. Because to move forward, you need to feel well on the inside. Getting through a late life divorce isn't just about practical changes, it's, above all, an emotional journey. And this journey can only be done in a healthy way when your mind receives the care it deserves. Many people ignore the subtle signs of emotional pain: frequent insomnia, constant fatigue, disinterest in daily life, irritability over small things. These symptoms aren't weaknesses, they're signals that you need attention and care. Just as we tend to the body, we must also care for the soul. Mental health is the foundation for rebuilding any part of your life. And at this moment, seeking help is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of wisdom. Talking to a therapist, joining support groups for divorced individuals, or simply having someone you can speak with without fear of judgment can be truly transformative. Sometimes, what you need most is a safe space to release what you've been carrying inside. Talking about the pain brings relief. And being heard with empathy brings healing. Emotional isolation is one of the biggest risks at this stage of life. And it's a sneaky one, because it disguises itself as comfort. You might think, I'd rather be alone, I don't want to bother anyone. But the truth is, closing yourself off hurts more than it protects. Staying in touch with friends, joining community groups, meeting people with similar experiences, all of this builds a support network that sustains and strengthens you. Loneliness might knock on your door, but you don't have to let it in. Taking care of your emotional health also means cultivating moments of joy, even the small ones. Having coffee on the porch, walking through the park, listening to a song that moves you, cooking something just for yourself. These aren't trivial activities, they're acts of self-care. When you treat yourself with kindness, the world slowly starts to feel lighter. And with that lightness, it becomes easier to look toward tomorrow. Especially because the next step is exactly about that, reorganizing your life in a practical and intentional way. After divorce, life requires a new structure, not just emotionally, but also practically. Things like housing, finances, daily routines, and even family roles need to be reconsidered with calm and clarity. Many people enter this stage fearing the unknown, thinking it's too late to start over. But the truth is, starting over isn't about age, it's about the direction you choose for your life now. And the more intentional that planning is, the more freedom you gain. Organizing your finances is one of the first steps. Whether it's reviewing legal agreements, setting new budgets, or seeking professional advice, this kind of care helps you avoid painful surprises and builds a solid foundation for the future. It's also the moment to decide where and how you want to live. Maybe staying in the same home brings you comfort. Or maybe it's time to find a new space, one that reflects you, your rhythm, your present. A place that doesn't remind you of the past, but welcomes the future you're creating. Creating a new routine is more important than it seems. It provides emotional stability and a sense of control amid change. Small habits, waking up at the same time, planning meals, setting aside time for leisure, help shape your day and prevent the feeling of emptiness. It's also within this new structure that you can finally include those long-postponed dreams, taking that course, traveling to a special place, learning something that always intrigued you. It's never too late. Reorganizing your life doesn't mean erasing what you've lived. It means making peace with your reality and choosing what to do with the time you still have. And that choice is powerful. It doesn't have to be rushed, but it does have to be yours. Life after divorce can be simpler, more yours, more free. And once you begin to bring order to the outside, something inside you starts to fall into place, too. And in that new space, an inevitable question is born: is there still room to love again? Maybe now, when you think about new love, you feel a mix of butterflies and doubt. Can I trust again? Is there someone out there who could understand me at this stage in life? These questions are normal, and often come with a blend of hope and fear. After a long marriage, the heart becomes more cautious, but also wiser. And it's that very wisdom that can guide you toward deeper, more authentic, and more conscious connections. Making space for something new doesn't mean chasing a relationship. It means being open to life. It can start with small steps, saying yes to a friend's invitation, exploring new places, joining groups with shared interests. There are many ways to connect, and all of them matter. You might meet amazing people in a class, on a walk, at a community event. Honest relationships are born wherever there's presence, exchange, and authenticity. And if you decide to give love another chance, know that there are many paths made just for that. Today, there are apps specifically designed for older adults, social media spaces, and in-person events filled with people who are in the same stage of life as you. Mature individuals with stories to tell, people who are also open to experiencing what life still has to offer. Love that arrives in later life tends to be gentler. There's less rush, fewer expectations. There's room to grow together, with freedom and respect. But even if love doesn't appear in the traditional sense, you can still feel whole. Because something new doesn't have to mean a romantic partner. It can be a new perspective, a new project, a new way to enjoy your own company. And often, when you feel complete within yourself, anything that comes from the outside is simply a bonus. The important thing to remember is this: the end of a relationship is not the end of your story. In fact, it could be the beginning of your most surprising chapter yet. Because there is life, a lot of it, after divorce. If this video resonated with you in any way, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it with someone who might also be going through this moment, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content we create, content that strengthens, supports, and inspires. Here, you'll never walk alone. Leave a comment sharing what you're going through, or what first step you've already taken. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.